Hello everyone, this is Snigdha Mahapatra, intern at LexClick. In my previous video, I had talked about the rule of majority or the rule of Foss versus Harbottle. In this video, I will be talking about the exceptions to that rule. In the following cases, the rule in Foss versus Harbottle does not apply. That is, the minority shareholders may bring an action to protect their interest. The first case is ultra-vires and illegal acts. The rule in Foss versus Harbottle does not apply where the act complained of is ultra-vires the company, since not even a unanimous vote of the shareholders can ratify such an act. In such cases, it appears that the plaintiff shareholder can bring either a personal action, basing himself upon the company's breach of its memorandum, or a derivative action, basing himself upon the wrong done to the company by those who have caused it to act ultra-vires. If the action is designed to prevent a threatened ultra-vires act, the plaintiff may bring either a personal or a representative action against the company, and the directors may be joined as co-defendants so that an injunction may be made against them too. But if the plaintiff member seeks an order that the company shall recover compensation for an ultra-vires act which has already been committed, or shall recover property disposed of by an ultra-vires transaction, the action must be a derivative one. Now, the second case is breach of fiduciary duties. A derivative action may be brought against directors and promoters who have been guilty of breach of their fiduciary duties to the company. If they are able to prevent the company from suing them in its own name because they control a majority of the votes at a general meeting, or because they are otherwise able to prevent a general meeting from resolving that the company shall sue them. Thus, derivative actions have been permitted against directors who were in control of the company for misappropriating the company's property or misapplying it in breach of the Companies Act, to compel such directors to account to the company for profits made by appropriating for themselves a business opportunity which the company would otherwise have enjoyed, or to deprive the members who controlled the company of their power to control it in the future, and to compel such directors to make a call on their own shares equal to call which they had made on the shares of the other members. Likewise, derivative actions have been permitted against promoters who were in control of the company to rescind contracts made between them and the company when they had been guilty of misrepresentations or had failed to disclose a secret profit which they obtained from the transaction, and in those cases, the court ordered the promoters to repay to the company all money received by them under the contracts. The third case is fraud or oppression against minority. The fraud or oppression need not amount to a tort at common law, but it must involve an unconscionable use of majority's power, restraining or likely to result either in financial loss or in unfair or discriminatory treatment of the minority, and it must certainly be more serious than the failure of the majority to act in the interest of the companies as a whole, which will include the court to induce an annual resolution altering the company's memorandum or articles. In the case of Edward versus Halliwell, it was held where the majority of a company's members use their power to defraud or oppress the minority, their conduct is liable to be impeached even by a single shareholder. The fourth case is inadequate notice of a resolution passed at a meeting of members. It has been held in many cases that if an insufficiently informative notice is given of a resolution to be proposed at a general meeting, any member who does not attend the meeting or who votes against the resolution may bring a representative action to restrain the company and its directors from carrying out the resolution. The fifth exception is qualified majority. But the Act or the articles require a qualified or special majority for passing a resolution The rule in Foss versus Harbottle cannot be invoked to override these requirements. If this were not so, provisions requiring qualified majorities would be valueless because a bare majority could always confirm a special resolution passed irregularly. The action brought by a shareholder to complain of an irregularity in the passing of a special resolution would seem to be a personal one. The sixth exception is where the personal rights of an individual have been infringed. As already noted, the principle of majority rule is applicable only to the corporate membership rights of a member. Infringement of a member's individual rights like right to vote or right to receive dividends, etc., entitles him to proceed in his own name. Now, the seventh exception is statutory exceptions. The Companies Act 2013, by certain provisions, extends protection to the minority shareholders by conferring certain rights on them. In no way any resolution passed by the company can infringe these rights. Thank you so much for watching the video and please subscribe to the channel.